pickle pluckers, welcome back to the shop. Today we're going over a big old fancy piece of shit better known as the PYLE, and we're gonna do this a little bit like I guess Jay Leno's garage style. So what you're looking at right here is my 1980 Jeep, obviously CJ7. It's got about 9 inches of lift on it, give or take, 1350 tires, and of course good old 343. I wanted to give everybody a little update on it, take you on a walk around it, show you some of the ins and outs, what's been done to the Jeep, and I guess maybe take her for a little cruise. That might be all right. It is a pretty day out. Any hoot nanny. But yeah, so this is what we got. It's a 1980. I've had it for about 9 years now, maybe 10 years almost. I bought it bone stock from a guy that had sat in his barn for about 15 years. He had his daughter driving it back in high school and all that good stuff. Originally it was a 258 Jeep with the SR4 4-speed in it. And the frame, the whole back half of the frame, back from about the middle of the wheel arch back, all that was rotten out and gone. So I bought it from him for 450 bucks and have had it ever since. Got the motor running halfway right, got her squared away, and eventually did a frame swap on it, pulled the frame off. Not too long after that, the motor blew a chunk out of the top of piston number 2, right on the edge of the piston, blew a chunk out of that. So I ended up pulling that motor out and got hold of this 343 from Psycho Squirrel, Team Psycho Squirrel, and bought it from him. Bought the 343 back with a Tremec T176 and a Wagoneer radiator that he had been running that's bigger than a standard CJ radiator. Put that in it and ran it for a number of years, and then finally she wiped the lobe off the cam and ended up rebuilding it. Like I'd said in the other video, there's another video I did previously talking about all the specs of the motor and everything like that, and it spun number 3 rod bearing because issue where it was building too much oil pressure and blowing the filters off. So doing that, wiped the number 3 rod bearings out and put it back together, got another crank and another set of rods and put her back together again for this time. But yeah, so anyway, what we're looking at here is a 80 CJ7. Like I said, it's got a 83 CJ7 frame underneath of it. The axles and everything like that are all the original axles. AMC 20 in the back and a Dana 30 up in the front. So we're gonna start at the front up here. Should start at the front, show you guys what I got at the front. We'll kind of work our way back, go through all the specs and everything, and we'll go to the interior, show you all the good stuff in the interior. So starting up front, this is just a homebrew front bumper that I bought off a guy in the Jeep club I was in years ago with a homemade stinger on it and all that good stuff. For those of you that don't know and just think the stingers look cool, this one really isn't quite set up like it's supposed to be. Normally they're supposed to lay out a lot more and be a little bit longer. What that is for is actually to keep you from, if you flip over, to keep you from turtling on your roof and to lay you off to either one side or the other, so you don't land square on your lid, you land on your side. And that's what stinger bumpers are actually for. Behind that, we got the Quadratec 950i winch with synthetic cable on it, and that has been a really good winch. I've only had to use it on myself once, but it has been great. I've had to use it on a number of other people, and the synthetic line is awesome. You don't have to worry about it snapping back and killing you, getting your hand all ate up with splinters and everything like that. I've also got JK headlights and I took the old glass ones out, and JK headlights will slam right in the hole, and they are way brighter than the stock CJ ones. They work really well. So obviously can't miss my the PYLE hood ornament, because yes, this is a big giant sexy piece of shit, and she'll let you know it. So we got that, got the old raggedy ass high lift mounted on the hood. And then also in the front end here, we've got a stock, well, not stock, but it's a narrow track Dana 30 with chrome ollie shafts and a heavy duty front, it's not a tank. It's got a heavy duty diff cover in the front, and then I've got a piece of DOM tubing with 2 Heim joints on it for the front track bar. And like I said, that the 30's got chrome ollie shafts, and I've also got a torque locker, which is, a lot of people call them a lunchbox locker or a ratcheting style locker or what have you. There's a bunch of different terms, but I've got a torque locker in there, and it's been really good so far. As well as got mile marker hubs in the front, and they've been good too. The lift kit is a Rocky Road Outfitters, right up there, Rocky Road Outfitters. It's a Rocky Road Outfitters spring overlift, and it's got the skid plates for the bottom of the leaf spring perches and everything like that. And it's about a 6.5 inch lift kit, and then also got the 1.5 inch shackles. And then I've got on the rear YJ leads on the rear, and then these are just some old wore out ass, they were 2 inch lift springs way back in the day, but now I imagine they're probably giving me maybe 1.5 inches at the best, inch maybe. But yeah, so they've been good, and the most important thing is they flex really well, and they've got double main leaves. So it's not a military wrap spring where you've got 2 leaf eyes that wrap around, but you can see it does got dual main leaves. So moving on from there, got a little piece of diamond plate covering up the rust hole in the sumbitch. And then this was really cool. I was able to find, this is an actual 343 badge off of a Javelin, and I had to put that on there. That was too cool. The body of this Jeep, as you can tell, is horrible, and the whole thing is a giant sheet of Bondo from front to back. And guess what? I don't care, and that's why I bought the Jeep, mainly because I mean, you can see right here where these the fender, like the stock fenders, they've got like a little plate that steps down here. They bondoed this whole thing. When I took the body off this bitch to do the frame swap, I took the whole body with the grill, hood, fenders, everything off in one clip, because you can see there's no gap here. There's the Jeep emblem is supposed to be stamped in the tub here. You can see it from the inside, but not the outside. That's how thick the Bondo is on this piece of shit. Yeah, see, there's the Jeep emblem there. But yeah, so it sucks and it's ugly, but guess what? I don't care, because I'm gonna smash it on trees and rocks and stuff anyway. I already have multiple times, so it really doesn't bother me. But this here gives you an idea just how thick the Bondo is on this piece of shit in some places. But, you know, fuck it, it's all good, and it, you know, don't fucking matter. So anyway, working our way back, we got a set of YJ half doors on here. I picked them up for dirt cheap, repainted them. You know, I think they were white or tan or something like that, so I repainted them. Got pretty close, don't really care, but I like them. Then going to the back of the Jeep here, we got the good old AMC 20 rear axle, and this has got a Lincoln lock diff in the back, and chrome ollie shafts, and an ox cover. The ox cover has been really good. Took some decent hits on it and never failed, never asked for more. So I've been pretty happy with it. The rear drive shaft is a Tom Woods custom drive shaft with the extended slip and everything like that, and it's worked really well. The front, I ain't hurt the front yet. That little pencil drive shaft in the front, I don't know if any of y'all have ever seen one of these, but these things are puny and tiny. And I've thought about replacing it, but I really want to see just how much abuse this thing will take, because man, I mean, it's been through some stuff, and I actually broke the rear drive shaft before I fucked up the front one. So I want to see what this thing will take and what it's going to do when it actually fails. But we're running 373 gears inner, and it puts me at like 2200 RPM cruising speed down the highway. And then also, while we're up under here, we're going to look at the I've got a MORE off-road anti-wrap bar, and it's actually got a shackle on it, so that way it eliminates axle wrap and helps make the AMC 20 stronger. You know, because you've got a little bit of extra brace in there. And also on the 20, I welded the diff housing to the tubes, because that's one of the problems they have a lot of times, is it breaks the plug welds and twists the tubes out of the housing. But that helped prevent that and helped prevent spring wrap. I destroyed 3 sets of leaf springs in the back of this thing, turned them into S's instead of U's. So I've been running this MORE anti-wrap bar so far with the shackle and everything, and it's been really, really good. Doesn't limit travel, and I've been really happy with the thing. Got a custom bracket action to hold my skid plate on and the transmission cross member, because these are notorious for ripping the bolts and everything out of the frame. So I through bolted it and cinched her down tight, and it's been good, never giving me any issues. So now that we know what's going on with the outside of her, let's take a little look under the hood here. So like I said, this is an AMC 343. And I go into a lot of specifics in the other episode, or in the other video, talking about it, and go into a little bit more detail, but just a quick overview of it. It's a 68 AMC 343. It's got the 4-barrel high compression pistons in it, probably pushing 10.6 to 1 compression out of it. Got a Holley Truck Avenger 670 carburetor that has been absolutely awesome, with a 2-inch spacer under that to help prevent heat soak. I've got the K&N pre-filter, and this has been sprayed with shoe waterproofing spray to help water to bead off when you splash through stuff, so it doesn't soak through. These do a pretty good job as they sit, but I wanted to spray it up and give it a little bit of extra protection so the water just beads and falls off. And it's been really good. Got an Offenhauser intake, HEI distributor with Davis Unified Ignition live wires, and it's been really good. Yeah, so then we got the I got manifolds on it, got 401 manifolds on it. I wanted to put headers on it, but after getting headers, I had the headers on it the first time I installed it and slid them down in here, and man, it was just way too tight working on stuff. Pain in the ass to take the starter off, and so I really decided to go back with the manifolds. Plus the factory 401 manifolds flow pretty well compared to you know, it's like they're almost like as similar as a shorty header or something like that. They flow really well for what they are, so I ain't been too worried about it. I got a flow cooler water pump in it, and that's been really good with helping keeping everything cooled down and running well. The cam in it is a Comp Cam's hydraulic roller cam. The whole motor, the cam lifters, the timing gear set, and the rocker arms are all hydraulic roller. Well, obviously the timing set, the timing chain is not, but it's a double roller timing chain. and then the cam and rocker arms, everything's roller on it. The cam's got 513 gross lift and 224 and 230 duration at 50 with 110 lobe separation. So it's a little bit choppy, you know, not too bad, but still really drivable and definitely still functional. The radiator is a Champion radiator. Man, these are some of the best bang for your buck you can get. It's a 3-core radiator, and this is actually a radiator out of a Graham Wagoneer. The way they're set up is really goofy. You can kind of see they actually sit angled back in the Wagoneers, so you've got to build like spacer brackets and stuff for them. But you know, it is what it is. That's the radiator I had in it when I put the 343 in it. So I said, shoot, I might as well keep going with what I got. And you know, it's always nice to have the extra cooling capacity as well. But yeah, I mean, it's good. Been running an Optima battery. I had an Optima in it before, and when I parked it after it blew up, I pulled it and put it in the Cherokee. And it's a Optima. What model is this? It is a 38 or a 3578 or whatever. But I love my yellow tops. They're really good. It's been great, man. I've let this thing go sit for months and months on end. Come back, the battery's completely dead. Put a charger on it, get her boosted back up, and man, it's good. Lives forever. My other one I had in it, that's in the Cherokee, I've had it for like 8 years, something like that, and it's been great. The clutch is a center force dual friction clutch, so it's got it's got 2 different style friction surfaces, and on the flywheel side of the motor, it's got like pucks where it engages the flywheel, and then on the transmission side, it's got like your standard style clutch facing on it touches on the pressure plate side. Excuse me. I converted her over to hydraulic clutch engagement and got rid of the linkage. The linkage stuff is okay, but man, when you start rock crawling and getting some goofy angles and shit like that, they really do not like to stay together, and they always fail at the most inconvenient time. But yeah, I mean, it's been pretty good so far. On the inside here, nothing super special. The shift knob, that was custom with the Tremec 176. The guy like did countertops and shit, and so he made this, and it's really comfortable to use and fun and kind of cool looking. I dig it. I've also got a hand throttle here. Obviously it's a bike brake cable, and so that runs from here, runs down the bottom, and then out to the let's see, you guys can see it, yeah, out there to the carburetor linkage, and you can see that's where it grabs hold of the throttle bracket there. Down in the floor, nothing super special. Got my Bigfoot gas pedal, which was in the Jeep when I bought it, and I've always had one since I was like 16. That was my dream, to have one of those. So every vehicle I've ever had, I've always moved the same gas pedal from vehicle to vehicle, and I love it. When I saw this Jeep and it had that goofy foot gas pedal, I knew this was the Jeep for me. And I also got some expanded metal down here for my pedal brackets. These bitches suck when they hit you in the shin, but it works good if you're covered in mud and stuff like that. They don't slip and slide and come off, and you get a really good brake feel for them. Like I said, it's got a Tremec 176, and then behind that is, of course, a Dana 300. I've got the twin stick set up for that, so you can engage the left lever there does your rear axle. The lever pulled back does high range, and then the lever pushed forward does low range, and then the front lever does the front axle, and gives you high range and low range for the front axle as well. So it's nice to be able to have, like, depending on your setup, I can't remember right off the top of my head, because I think you can only go to low range if the rear axle is in low range as well. Like, you can't just have just the front axle in low range, but I think you can put just the front axle in high range, if I'm not mistaken. But it works out really well, and you know, it's been good setup. Got my little Cobra CB with my static noise canceling mic. That's a must on a Jeep like this, because it's so damn loud anytime and all that. Just my switches in the dash for the electric fan, and one for the lights. You know, nothing special, man. I've got when I rebuilt the engine the first time, the odometer had actually rolled over to 0, so it was pretty cool. So since I had the engine rebuilt, I put 797 miles on it total. The first one I had like 520 miles on it, and so right now we're almost probably a little over putting 300 miles on it since I put it back together the second time, because you know, it's a stock speedometer, gear, and everything like that. So right now it's showing less than what it's got, because like when I'm running down the road doing like 62 mile an hour, it says I'm doing like 50. So I'm sure the mileage is off a little bit, but yeah, I mean, nothing super special. You know, the bodywork's been trimmed out and everything. This whole incident, you can see some more of the lovely Bondo work and all that jazz here. That's like ridiculous, dude. Ridiculous. But this happened. The brakes gave out on me one time when we were wheeling. I slid back down the hill and slammed into a tree and all that fun shit. But you know, hey, that's how you make memories, right? So anyway, well, let's go ahead and go for a little ride, I guess, and fire this pig up and have some fun. A lot of people say leaf springs can't flex, so let's just see about that. Well, you be the judge. Tell me what can and can't flex. She's just about maxed out right there. You see all the packs laying open, tucking up nicely in the back here. Well, she does pretty good for old ragged Jeep. People always think the leaf springs are broke when they see them, because they open up so much. But she does all right for old ragged leaf sprung CJ. Not too shabby. So let's go for a little ride. Nothing about the quality of the audio or anything like that, so I'm sorry if it ain't very good, but we're gonna go for a little cruise, see what this old girl is all about. hard to beat, man. I thought about trying to get under it at one point, but there's just not enough room. And you know, with that anti-wrap bar under there, it really takes up a lot of room and makes it hard to get one underneath of it. But, you know, the way she goes. Well, it's like they say, loud pipes save lives, right? Right. You want to know when this piece of shit's coming at you, it's not a brakes. Get the fuck out of the way. And I tell you, these Toyo Open Country MTs have been great tires. They're expensive as hell. I got them real cheap with a set of tires and wheels. I was able to sell the rims for what I paid. Back up to the shop, so tell you, hope y'all enjoyed it. Got any questions or whatever, don't hesitate to give me a holler and put her down there in the shit talk, or let me know and I'll answer whatever questions you got about this ragged motherfucker and help you build yours or whatever you got. But take it easy, stay classy.